Yo, what's up, folks? This Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you back to the Hurt Business 101. Let's get right into this video, man. Today's video, I want to discuss a fight that's going to be taking place in the lightweight division. I'm really excited about this one. This time, it's going to be Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin de Los Santos. Really good scrap. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get into it. We all know Shakur Stevenson previously had a fight that was supposed to take place versus Frank Martin. However, it was reported that Frank Martin was no longer interested in the fight. So now we're moving on down the list in the WBC's ranking. And De Los Santos is up next. And he has been calling for this fight for quite some time. You know, while Shakur Stevenson was trying to get other guys in the ring, the whole time De Los Santos was saying, listen, I'll fight him. I'm looking for that fight. Even a few days prior to this, he pulled up in his neighborhood. You know what I mean? It was a nice little promo, whatever. He got out the car, tell Shakur Stevenson he in his hood. He's waiting for that fight. He even said before, I'll beat Shakur easily. So he's just doing what he's supposed to do to try to get that fight. And hey, I'm with it. I'm with that. Let's break it down, man. Edwin de Los Santos is a real rugged, hard puncher. And he is one of the hardest punchers in the lightweight division. You got guys like Tank Davis, that has tremendous power. Edwin de Los Santos is really hard, man. You can go back and check some of his highlights for yourself. I always suggest watching whole fights of a guy because highlights don't always tell you everything about him. But if you just want to see that, just want to confirm that he has punching power, he has a record of 16-1 with 14 wins by way of knockout. And when you look at some of those knockouts, you can tell, I mean, the dude just has raw power. And that's going to always make a guy like him dangerous. I think the key to him trying to pull this off is to have the same mentality he's been having trying to get this fight. The I don't give a damn mentality. I mean, just come on. He's been chasing this fight down. Like, he doesn't care how highly Shakur Stevenson is rated. He don't care. He sees all his skills. He said, I don't care. He don't care about none of that. He just coming out there to beat him. He said, I could beat him easily. And he got to keep that energy because for this fight, he's going to need to put the pressure on. You know, this is not to sit back and try to pick your punches, fight for him. I think he needs to be smart, but he needs to go after Shakur. When going after Shakur, one thing he needs to do is change his speed on his punches because he throws all of his punches at one speed. I mean, I have seen him when he's been forced to think. I have seen him actually slow down and do some good rolling and countering and stuff like that. So he does have some boxing ability in there. I'm not saying he can't box, but I'm just saying this fight, whatever he can do as far as his boxing, I think Shakur sees him and raises him. You know what I mean? So I believe he has to just find smart ways to deliver his power. He wings punches a lot. I mean, he throws his punches, like the road travel for his punches. You know what I mean? He throws a lot of he throws a lot of hooks. A lot of his shots come from the outside in. He doesn't really throw anything straight down the line to make it from point A to point B fast. It's usually, it goes around the block. You know what I mean? It catches you, but it's powerful. And if he catches, he has good timing with that too. So I believe he has to try to time Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is by far the faster fighter. But here's the kicker. De Los Santos is not slow. De Los Santos actually has fast hands. The thing is like I said, the route travel with his punches. He loops his punches, and Shakur is more of a sharp puncher as far as, he throws more straight shots. And even when he throws his hooks and uppercuts, he keeps everything tight to the vest. Like, everything is tight to his body. He doesn't, throw looping hooks. He throws tight, compact hooks and uppercuts and stuff like that. Whereas though De Los Santos, his kind of goes around and, you know what I mean? He loops them. That's what I mean when I say loops them. It comes around. Shakur Stevenson, his stuff is right here. It's tight. It's on the inside. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't give you a lot of time in between his shots to try to pick him apart. So I believe De Los Santos needs to try to change his speed on it, Because one thing I can tell you about Shakur Stevenson is Shakur Stevenson will pick up, if you become one-dimensional at all, and this is one thing I love about Shakur Stevenson, his style, his mentality. He smiles a lot, and he looks like a happy fighter, but he's a little mean son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, for him you wouldn't really associate a guy with his style for being mean, but it's like once he picks up on a guy's pattern and he picks up on a guy's, figures out the timing of a guy where he can pot shot him, and he just like an avalanche. Like, he just starts to pile it on, and he won't let up. Once he gets some momentum going, he keeps that momentum going. It starts like, it's almost like it's just like a systematic beating that he's putting on these guys after a while. And I believe one thing De Los Santos needs to do to try to stop that from happening is change his speed up on those punches so Shakur can't, figure out his timing as easily. Eventually he's going to figure it out, but you basically want to try to keep him off balance enough, and hopefully while he's trying to figure you out early, you can catch him with something hard and hurt him and change the trajectory of the fight, you know what I mean, and change the momentum of the fight. Because funny things can happen once a guy gets hit with certain type of power, whatever things that, he could possibly throw his game plan out and go into a survival and a stick and move cat and mouse game. And I believe that's where De Los Santos actually has the advantage with, if he could send Shakur into the mode where he gets out of that killer mode. Because even when Shakur is in that killer mode, he's still being calculated. It's just that he's coming forward and he's getting that forward momentum. And I believe once he starts getting close to a guy like De Los Santos with the looping punches, the fact that he has those shorter, crisper punches, he's able to beat him to the punch. And once he starts beating a guy to the punch, he starts hitting him before the guy even gets his shots all the way out. And then he starts getting into his groove. And then once he, it's like that basketball player that is just on fire. Once he starts that, it's just like, that's where he gets to the point where he possibly can stop guys. Because nowadays he's starting to actually sit down on his punches a lot more. Whereas though earlier in his career, he was like coming out of the amateurs. It's like people look at the punching power. Like, now I do believe De Los Santos has the raw punching power. I believe he has the edge when it comes to raw punching power. But with Shakur Stevenson, a lot of people look at him and say, oh, well, he doesn't really have power. Look at his KO percentage. He's 20 wins, 10 KOs. But what I would challenge people to do is go back and do some homework. Watch his first 10 fights versus his last 10. Because the first 10, he was a really accomplished amateur with a lot of amateur experience. So guys like him and, guys like Rigondeaux, guys that did a lot of amateur boxing, sometimes it's hard for them to break out of that I'm trying to score, and not trying to put the hurt on guys and move out of that mode until actually getting to the point where he's willing to sit down on his punch and really try to put some hurt on guys. Now he's finding a good balance between the boxing and, and sitting down on his shots and actually trying to get a guy out of there. So right now he's in that sweet spot where he's becoming a really dangerous fighter right now. But hey, I'm intrigued because this type of fight is going to keep me on the edge of my seat, because I do believe Edwin De Los Santos is going to make Shakur stay alert, particularly early, because until Shakur figures it out, De Los Santos has a window there where he could try to make something funny happen. You know what I mean? By landing something big and piling it on. You know what I'm saying? I give you my prediction for the fight. And my prediction for this fight is that De Los Santos comes out fast. I believe he won't pick his punches unless he's absolutely convinced, that he's not going to be able to knock Shakur out. At that point, he will begin to try to do a little bit of more boxing. But I believe by the time he figures out that he's not going to be able to get to Shakur with the hard punishing shots, I believe he'll be behind on the cards. I believe Shakur Stevenson will be started to pick up his momentum and ultimately putting on a clinic. I take Shakur Stevenson to win this fight. a lot of people, the smart money would go with, if I was betting, I would go Shakur Stevenson unanimous decision. I just don't think De Los Santos has the boxing skill, and I don't think he's there to take Shakur Stevenson off of his square. You know what I'm saying? I think the cream is going to rise to the top on this one. Shakur is a really special fighter, and I like Edwin, but I just don't think he has what it takes to pull this out. Shakur Stevenson could possibly get a stoppage by TKO. I don't think he would lay him out, but I believe that you can see a towel in, a referee step in if De Los Santos can't stop that momentum. And that's my prediction. Shakur Stevenson puts on the clinic once he figures out De Los Santos. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Hurt Business 101. And you know what they say, it's no business like show business, but I say it's no business like the hurt business. 101, done.